Hi students, I am Sandhya Rathod from Param Guru Pathshala English Medium School Sarsa. Today I am going to discuss one of the chapter from Standard 9 Social Science book, unit number 8, and the name of the chapter is Framing of Constitution and its Features. In my last video I discussed part 1, so today we will discuss part 2. So let me start with this video with the pillars of preamble. In my last video I discussed what is preamble, what is the importance of preamble. Okay, so these questions I already discussed with you. So today we will discuss pillars of preamble. So let's go ahead. Sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic, justice, liberty, fraternity and equality. So these are the pillars of preamble. Students, remember in your exam there can be the question that how many pillars of preamble are there. So you have to write down this many names for your answer. Let's go ahead. See, these are the pillars, but here in this chapter we are going to discuss only main pillars of preamble which are necessary for us, or we should know about that pillars. That main pillars only we are going to discuss here in this chapter. So let's go ahead. First pillar, or first one of the most important pillar, is democracy. So democracy, the word is derived from Greek word. Remember, okay students, democracy, the word is derived from Greek word demo. Okay, demos means people and kratos means power. So what is the meaning of democracy? People, power. Okay, remember again I am reading democracy, the word is derived from Greek word demos means people and kratos means power. It is one of the IMP question, remember students. Let's go ahead. Now what is democracy? In the word we understood that people power means the power the people have. Okay, so actually what is democracy? What is the meaning of democracy? So here that we will discuss in detail. Abraham Lincoln, the former president of USA, had stated that democracy is the government of people, for the people and by the people. Okay, remember one of the easiest and ample definition of democracy, Abraham Lincoln, who was the former president of USA, he had said that democracy means what? A government which is for people, by the people. Okay, so in my last video I already discussed that in 1950 we had got republic world, we had right to speak, we had right to express thoughts, so all freedoms we had got, and we had got democracy world where we can express everything. We don't have any kind of slavery. We can do anything whatever we want according to rules and regulations of constitution. So here democracy is, the power which people have got to express their thoughts, their ideas, their perceptions. Let's see here. Country's power is within a group of people. Instead, it is within the people of the country. Now, country's power is not within a group of people, but it is within the people of the country. Now, if you want to run a country, you should be with the people. Okay, government should be with the people. Government always should think about the people. If they are not thinking about the people, then this country will not run properly. So everywhere we have seen that government is doing everything for the people. Okay, what are the benefits for the people? That kind of planning they are doing. So here democracy means if you want wealth of your country, you should think about the people. You should always plan for the people of your country. You should always understand their needs, what they required, okay, that you need to understand. Then only a government can run properly. State administrative is such an arrangement in which there is equal justice for people to social, economical, and political, and having rights of participation. So, state administration had made such an arrangement, or there is a rule that people of India should get equal rights of participation, equal rights to do the work, okay, socially, economically, politically, they should have equal rights. They must have. This is democracy. So state administrative had made such an arrangement. So there should be no caste discrimination, there should be no religion. If you are a people of India, you have equal rights for everything. You can participate, you can learn anything, you can be the IAS officer. There should not be any rules, regulations, okay? So if you have the power, if you have the knowledge, if you are ready to do anything, you can do. Why? Just because in our country we have got the freedom in every way, socially, economically, politically, we can do anything. So this is what our constitution had done for the people of India. In democratic India, people can elect their leaders through their choice by casting vote. You know, everybody. When there is an election, you can vote for your leaders, or the leaders which you want. For that leader you can give vote. So this freedom also we have got in our democratic India. Executives do not have absolute power. They are given specific time limit, and cabinet consists members of parliament. So in a democracy, okay, in a democracy India, those who are executives, they do not have that much power, and they do not have got specific time limit. So here cabinet people only can be the members of parliament. Let's go ahead. Now here, who possesses required constitutional eligibility can contest the election. Now who can give the vote? Okay, see, if you are above 18 years, or if you reach to the 18 years age, then you can give vote. You can select your choice of leader. So this freedom we have got in our constitution. Now the government, okay, if you have selected one person as a leader, as a prime minister, as a president of India, that person has 5 years of tenure, means that person has 5 years of time limit. Each elected government, each person who is in the government can do their work for 5 years. 5 years is a time limit. So after 5 years there will be another election, and if you have done good things, if you had thought for your people, you might get another chance to be the PM of this country. Okay, the government works under the principles of constitution, and therefore it is known as responsible government. Now the government cannot do according to their own wish. They cannot plan according to their own choice, because our constitution is there. Our constitution has given rules, regulations. Okay, so according to the principles of constitution which have mentioned in the constitution, in seeing the constitution, seeing the rules only, they can work, or government works. So that's why our government is also known as responsible government, because they are doing work according to rules, according to the constitution. and that's why it is known as responsible government. Sometimes they are asking question, why our government is known as responsible constitution, responsible government? Just because our government is working according to rules and regulations of constitution. The democratic government is based on liberty, equality, and feeling of fraternity. These words in my last video also I discussed. Okay, liberty, freedom, equality, equal rights, and feeling of fraternity means in a group you can introduce your choice, you can say about your feelings. Okay, so everything we have got in our democratic government. You can ask questions to the PM. So this type of liberty, freedom, okay, we are not in a slavery, we are not now part of Britishers. Okay, we are in a democratic world, so we have the right, we can do anything according to the rules. The constitution disseminates the power to people to cast their vote to their free will. Free will means according to their choice. I already told you, by your own choice you can elect the people. You can cast your vote, you can give your vote. Nobody can insist you to give a particular person your vote. Okay, your vote to a particular person, because you have right. You even don't need to share with anybody else. That much right you have got. So according to your own wish, you can give your vote, you can cast your vote, and for that you don't need to take permission from any person, from any government. Okay, so this is what we have got just because of our constitution. The Constitution of Democratic India renders fundamental rights, principles for political directions, parliament, member of assembly, independent and impartial justice and election commission. So our constitution gives us everything: fundamental rights, political directions, parliament, okay, everything we have got. Adult suffrage means the citizen above 18 years of age can cast their vote to one's choice of leaders without discrimination. Without discrimination means you don't need to see caste, creed, religion, language, gender, education, income, birthplace. Okay, so adult suffrage means the citizen above 18 years of age, they can give their vote. They don't need to see discrimination. They don't need to think about discrimination, from which religion this person is belonging, from which caste this person is belonging. You don't need to see. See, we have seen in our India somewhere still discrimination is there. But as a person of government of India, as a person of India, you don't need to worry about discrimination. You have right, you have got right, you can give your vote, so you don't need to worry about discrimination. Now let's go ahead. Democracy we discussed. Another one is socialist. Socialist, the term has been inserted into the preamble by the Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1946. 1976. Though the word socialism has no definite meaning, in general, the word means some form of ownership of the means of production and distribution by the state. Now students, what is socialist? Okay, you should know about this. Socialist means social revolution which brought social and economic equality, further the aim of welfare state, for the welfare of state, for the wealth of state, for the goodness of state, okay, which had brought equality socially and economically. That's called socialist, social revolution, for social work the work you are doing. That's called socialism. The degree of state control will determine whether it is democratic state or socialist state. India has, however, chosen its own brand of socialism, which is mixed economy. So India had selected their own brand of socialism, that whether you are in a democratic state or socialist state. Democratic state means you have right, okay. And socialist means according to social rules, regulations, you have to work. Let's see in a detail about socialistic. I already told you in 1976, by the 42nd Indian Constitution Amendment, the word socialist has been added. Directly, indirectly, it shows social revolution and equality for social and economic. So here, the principle of socialistic pattern directs social, economic and political equality for citizens as given in the preamble. We already discussed, I already told you that we have got rights. It is now regarded as a prime feature of the state. It reflects the fact that India is committed to secure social, economic and political justice for all its people. Now remember, India is committed. India had rights that India means the government should see about the people of their country, whether they have got justice or not. India stands for abolishing all forms of exploitation as well as for securing equitable distribution of income, resources and wealth. So India should see everything, whether they have got income, resources, wealth, okay. For all these things, they need to see properly. Equitable means fair. There should not be any kind of cheating. Fair, it should be fair in every way. Any one particular person should not have power over all assets. Instead, everyone should have equal opportunity by getting facilities and provisions from society. Now remember, any one particular should not have power, that this person is enough rich, this person is enough knowledgeable, so that person will get all the opportunity. No, it is not like that, okay. You are a socialist you are in India where there is a socialist, so you too have equal opportunity. You should also get all the facilities which a rich person is getting, which a knowledgeable person is getting. So that's why that we have got equal opportunity. All the people of India, whether that person is rich or poor, knowledgeable or illiterate, that doesn't matter, okay. If the person is from India, that person should get all the opportunities, all the facilities from every way. Therefore, we can say that Constitution of India is a socialist document. Means socially also we have got equal rights. Now let's see about another IMP pillar of preamble, and that one is secularism. The term secularism means a state which has no religion of its own as recognized religion of the state. It treats all religions equally. Now, okay, in a state there is no only one religion, okay, which has no religion of its own, means Gujarat, so people of Gujarat should believe in Hindu. That is not there in our constitution, okay. So what is secularism? There is no particular religion. You have got freedom. According to your wish, according to your belief, you can select your religion. You can believe in any god. So there is no particular state who has that particular rule or who has that particular religion. So secularism means secularism doesn't believe in any religion. In a secular state, the state regulates the relationship between man. So here humanity is there, not religion. If there is a man, that person is a, we should respect that person. We should not see religion. It is not concerned with the relation of man with God. Now see what is there in the textbook. In the year 1976, by 42nd Indian Constitution Amendment, the word secular was inserted. Remember this line. It can be the question in your exam. India is a secular country. In India we have seen, we have observed there are many religions. There are many gods, goddesses. People are believing according to their own choice. So that's why India is known as secular country. India can never become one particular religious country. It can never become. So we have seen many religion: Hindu, Christian, Muslim, Jain, Sikh, Sindh. So many religion are there. So Indian government cannot say that you should believe in Hinduism only. You should be Muslim people only. India cannot say. India has not right. Our constitution has given a permission. So that's why India is a secular country. India does not follow any particular religion, so the country never promotes any religious activity. India can never say that Hinduism is the best religion and Muslim is not. Christianity is not good religion. Indian government cannot say. Indian government has not that right, or Indian government cannot promote this kind of activity just because the government has to be here in the India. If government will do in this, or government will give such a advice to the people, then there will be war in India. And that's why India does not promote. The country cannot involve any secular activity with religious activity. The citizen of the country has a freedom to choose his or her religion. The country cannot discriminate a citizen on religious basis. Remember, the country cannot discriminate. The country cannot ask from which religion you are, from which caste you are, because that person is a human being and you should respect. Equal job opportunities and political rights to the citizens are given without any religious discrimination. So if you are going to get government job, that person, that manager, that officer may not ask you, that person cannot ask you whether are you Hindu or Christian, whether are you Muslim or Jain. Because India does not promote. India has not given right to any person to discriminate that person by the religion. So that's why India is a secular country. Anywhere you can do job. You can become IAS officer, you can pass your GPSC exam, you can be the lecturer, you can be the government teacher. And you will get, if you have enough knowledge, if you have that, position, you will get. So secularism is the basic foundation and mandatory feature of the constitution. Sarva Dharma Samriddhi and Sarva Dharma Sambhav are the principles incorporated in the constitution. Sarva Dharma Samriddhi, all the religions should have prosperity and all the religions should have humanity. That is the mantra sloka of India. So India is giving equal respects to all the religions. So this is all about secularism. I hope my students you have understood. Now let's discuss basic features of the constitutions. The first one is written document, another one is size of the constitution, third one is single citizenship, and fourth one is the center with strong federal structure. So these are the basic features of the constitution. Remember, there can be the question in your exam. So let's discuss step by step. The constitution, which came into force on 26 January 1950, is considered as the largest, extensive and detailed written document. I already discussed many times. So written document, what is there in the written document? That our constitution is in the form of written. So anytime you can read, anytime you can ask questions. So that's why it is known as written document. Another one is size of the constitution. Indian constitution is divided into 22 sections comprising 395 articles and 8 appendices. Now it is 12. The constitution comprises provisions for state administration, states, interrelations, fundamental rights, principles for political policies, judiciary, election commission, government institution, minorities, scheduled caste and deprived groups. So in our constitution, okay, everything is there which are existing in India. Judiciary system is there, everything is there. We have seen in some movies also judiciary system, okay. So everything is there, all the rights is there in our constitution. And how many sections are there? 22, 395 articles and 8 appendices were earlier, now it is 12. So this is what all size of the constitution. Size of the constitution means everything is there in our constitution. Single citizenship. So here in America dual citizenship is given, but whereas in our India only one single citizenship is given, one for United States of America and another for state citizenship. Okay, this is all about USA, but in India there is only one single citizenship irrespective of any region or state of the country. So you know this, you can be only one citizen, you can get only one citizenship of India. The last one is center with strong federal structure. So let's read. India is a union of states. We know that many states are existing in India. So there is nowhere any reference of the word federal in the constitution. There is no word federal, means in our constitution you will not get federal word. Union of states is the sentence used for India. By the use of word union, a permanent and irreversible relationship between union and its component state is indicated. Okay, so here union of state, this word has been used here in permanent and irreversible, means cannot be able to be undone. For or between union and component states. India is a union of states and no state has right to secede it. Thus, India is a union of states, yet it has some elements of federal government. In Indian Federation, there are two sets of governments. The union government means local government and state government. So the constitution has clearly marked area of functioning for both the kinds of government. Now let me tell you in a brief that the center with strong federal structure means many states are there, and for the states the government had given two sets of government. Union means local like panchayat, gram panchayat, taluka panchayat, and states, okay, nagar palika, mahanagar palika, like they have divided, means states are there and each states had their own type of union and state government, and according to this they are working. So these are the basic features of the constitution. I hope students you understood. So here I discussed with you pillars of the preamble, okay, And in the pillars, three main pillars we discussed: democracy, socialist and secularism. And another point I discussed that basic features of the Constitution. In that I discussed four main points: written documents, size of the Constitution, single citizenship, the center with strong federal structure. I hope student you understood. The remaining chapter I will discuss in my next video. Thank you students.